Yes, and today I am so excited. We have with us Dawn Beutner. She's the editor of a new book, All Things Are Possible, The Selected Writings of Mother Cabrini from Ignatius Press. Author of The Leaven of Saints, Saints Becoming an Image of Christ Every Day of the Year. This woman knows her saints. She's my go-to person for saints, and she wrote a great article in the Catholic World Report called From Satanist Priest to Canonized Saint, the remarkable redemption of Bartolo Longo. Hello, Dawn. Good to talk to you again.
Good morning.
Dawn, I love this article. I mean, I just want you to talk about this guy. I mean, it is amazing. So kind of tell us about who is this Bartolo Longo who's going to be canonized on Sunday, correct?
Correct. So his feast day was October 5th, so you may have heard about him before. And I love him, too. I think he's a great example. Most people think of him as, he promoted the rosary. He was a Dominican tertiary, and he promoted the rosary. But he had a really amazing backstory. He was born in Italy. His father died when he was a little boy. His mother remarried. His stepfather was a good man. He wanted Bartolo to become a teacher. Bartolo was too... I would say squirrely to become a teacher. He wanted to become a lawyer. So he went off to college, and there, Italy was going through a lot of turmoil at the time. There was changing from being a number of kingdoms into Italy, like what we think of now as Italy, which sounds like so obvious, but it was a really tumultuous time. So when he went off to college, some of his professors had recently been in prison.
Oh, wow.
For their extremely liberal, violent approach to how they wanted to transform Italy. So, and one of his professors was a former priest who was former Catholic priest who was very anti-Catholic. So, as you may imagine, young man away from home for the first time, that's what his professors are telling him. He got caught up in this political movement and also he got caught up in their atheism. So, as a young man, here he's caught up in that, becomes an atheist, and spiritualism was a big thing in the 1800s because he was born in 1841, died in 1926. So, spiritualism was was very popular to go to seances. And some of that stuff is just people trying to separate you from your money, but what he ended up in was a real cult, so a satanic cult. And he really missed his father. So I feel like it's the father wound in him, the weakness in him was he really wanted to communicate with his father. So that drew him into the cult. They promised him, you'll get to talk to your dad. And so he did, but he became a satanic priest. So, which you just think, like, that's amazing. So his friends get freaked out by the fact that he is, like, losing weight, looking possessed and haunted and not eating and not sleeping, and he had terrifying nightmares, and he just seems to not be getting the fact that he's in a lot of trouble. His peers couldn't help him, but there were some there was a professor who was a good Catholic, noticed it, tried to talk to him. He connected him to a Dominican priest who, tried to, deprogram him, we would say. And a very holy Catholic woman who's now a Saint Catherine Volpicelli, who was a holy woman at the time. Most people never heard of her, but at the time she was a very holy woman. These people, talked to him, reached out to him, and he was, left the cult. I would say it was exercised, and came back to his faith. So this huge turnaround in his life. He somehow he had managed to get a law degree during all of this.
Oh, geez, that's amazing.
And so he gets a law degree, and then he tries to, he wants to evangelize, wants to bring people around back to the faith. And as he's doing this, he needs a place to live. He stays with this Countess de Fusco, because he needed, and she was a good Catholic, but needed money, so he was paying paying rent. And she had some property in a place called Pompeii. We've all heard of it as the place where they got destroyed by Vesuvius. Right. So she sent him to go try to collect some rent. And while he's there, he realizes these people have no faith. They're saying things that are outright heretical. and so he decides, he comes up with this idea. We'll have this big Christian festival that's going to be, like a parish picnic, but with lots of, a mass and, good speakers and a parish retreat, really make it wonderful. Well, the first year, so he gets it all set up. First year it rains.
Oh, jeez.
And so it's completely ruined. But he didn't give up. He came back the next year and the next year, and then this slowly grew over time in the rest of his life into this movement of encouraging people to pray the rosary, this deep devotion to our Blessed Mother. He built a church. He established orphanages. Wrote a magazine. Became a really important figure in Italy during his lifetime as a layman, a Dominican tertiary, evangelizing people. And it all started with this very dramatic turnaround in his life.
Wow, that is amazing. So, tell us a little bit about this Countess de Fusco, because he ends up marrying her, right? But I mean, it's a chaste kind of relationship.
So, if you read about, so what happened? Remember, he's a lawyer, but he doesn't really have much money. So, so he needed, like I said, he needed a place to live. He stayed with her. She was, when you read the accounts of her, she was kind of a haughty, arrogant woman. She's Catholic. She's a good Catholic woman, but she had she was a widow, and she had a couple of sons who were not so great. They were kind of, they thriftless, you could say. They were spending a lot of money, and they did not obey her. So he kind of entered into this situation as a boarder, but he, tries to make an impact on that. She, she doesn't have much money, but she has property and she has, aristocratic relations. She kind of fallen in the world when her husband died and left her in debt.
Okay.
So she has, relationships that she can help him get, use for the good of the church.
Right.
And so, they lived, but he never married. He's like living as a boarder in her house. Well, anytime you try to do anything good, people get in trouble. So people spread this gossip that they were, they were not just boarder and whatever, and owner, landlord, but they were having a relationship. So to avoid to stop the gossip, they married. They lived chastely. All the accounts that I have of the two of them, but Countess de Fusco was a difficult woman to get along with, and she's not canonized.
That alone, that's right. That alone would make him a saint, right? Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So he accepted. He accepted this. We have to do this for he could have separated from her. He could have done all sorts of things, but I guess he realized maybe he was able actually to soften some of her sharp edges, and they were able to work together well as a team. That's the story.
This is such a great story, Dawn. Have you written more on him, or are there places that people can go to read more about him, to get more insight into him?
Sadly, there's only one good biography I know of. It's a translation in Italian. So I think people just need to go to Italy or send me.
All right. Yeah. We'll send you, Dawn. Thanks so much, Dawn. Have a good rest of the week.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.